Of course, we're here just to hang out. No, we're here to cover a game, and that is Gonzaga taking on St. Mary's in the WCC Championship Final. It starts at 6 o'clock. Now, the Zags and Gales have played each other so many times in Vegas, but Gonzaga has won the last 4 WCC tournaments in a row now. Even though they've won so many, though, that doesn't mean that it's just an easy thing. They said it so many times after that win over Santa Clara last night, that this is March and they know all these teams are hungry, and that includes the 20th ranked Gales that they'll be taking on tonight.
Every time we come here, we come with the same mindset. It's one game at a time, and we know there's no margin for error in March. So you got to, like Nigel said, it's March, so every win is gonna come hard for us.
St. Mary's just an excellent team. I mean, they have been all year. They've been top 20, top 15. They play really slow, and they are very extremely efficient with what they do, and then they make you earn everything on the defense when they play between you and the basket.
And made it. What a shot for Herman.
So once again, we are expecting a good one. 4th ranked Zags, 20th ranked Gales. Tip off 6 o'clock. It's coming soon.
All right, and so we want to know what to expect. Maybe we need to look back at the last couple of games. For that, let's send it back up to Spokane with our man Sam Adams. He has a look at that.
All right, thanks, guys. If past history does tell us anything about these two teams, well, we should be ready for a dogfight between the Zags and the Gales tonight. But if you look at just this year alone, well, Gonzaga seems to have St. Mary's number. Gonzaga and St. Mary's have faced off twice in conference play this season. The Zags prevailing in both of those games by double-digit margins. First game back on January 14th here in Spokane, never a contest. The Bulldogs embarrassed the Gales to the tune of a 79-56 win. The Zags put on a clinic, playing a complete game on both ends of the floor. They shot 64% from the field while committing just 7 turnovers. Now, 1 month later, the Gales did put up a fight, but they still got manhandled by the bigger Zags. Shimek Karnowski was the focal point of the offense, especially early. He scored 19 points in just 25 minutes on the floor on the way to the 74-64 victory. All right, now the big question, can Gonzaga beat St. Mary's for a 3rd time this year? A potential #1 seed in the NCAA tournament could be at stake. And as we continue our pregame coverage leading up to that game tonight in the WCC title game, we bring in Kalae once again, who has a story of a Gonzaga freshman who will be playing in front of a hometown crowd tonight. Kalae.
Yeah, and we've been talking about that, Sam. Lindsay's kind of been filling me in more in detail about what he's done this season.
That's right. Zach Collins has been one of the best players in the entire country. He has made such an impact as a freshman, and we'll see what happens in his future.
Okay, well, speaking of his future, we're going to talk about that in a minute, but let's go back to his past. He went to a very famed high school, Bishop Gorman, here in Las Vegas, and I talked to his dad about their decision to put Zach into this prestigious school.
A walk through the 50-acre campus shows the private Catholic school's prestige.
And of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
And a walk through the gym shows the school's athletic success. The football team has won the National Football Championship title the last 3 years. The basketball team has won the state championship title the last 6 years. Zach Collins' dad, Mike, says his son's commitment to the sport from an early age pushed the family to make the decision to enroll at Gorman.
It was always him nudging Dad, can we get to the gym? Can we do that? And to be honest, there's a lot of times I'd rather have the TV remote and just sit there and watch TV, but you don't get those chances very often, so you take everything you can get.
With tuition at more than $13,000 a year, getting Zach into the Gorman program meant sacrifice for the whole family.
We sold our house. I sold my truck. We made, we got into a smaller house that was a little closer, something that we could afford while we still paid tuition. I paid every month, and it was a hardship, and it's hard.
But Mike says that move was worth it. Setting up kids for sporting careers after high school is the focus.
We want to give the kids a good opportunity to be seen and to go on to college. And we want to win, but that's not all what it's all about. It's about giving the kids the opportunity to reach their goals of getting college scholarships. And Zach's a great example of that.
And the list of professional athletes to come out of Gorman is extensive.
Shabazz Muhammad playing for the Timberwolves. We've got Steven Zimmerman, who's playing for the Orlando Magic. DeMarco Murray, who played for the Cowboys. The list keeps continuing.
And speaking of that continuing list, so many people are now asking, what is next for Zach Collins? He just spent 1 year at Gonzaga, but people are whispering about him moving to the NBA next year. So I asked his dad about that.
See, I don't know what he's going to do, and that's the honest truth. I have no idea.
What are you and his mom telling him?
We just want him to be smart about it. The NBA is a very tough world. It's not Gonzaga.
All right, so we will see what happens with Zach Collins in his future, but let's just talk about the Zags right now. And I'm here with a Gonzaga fan. Of course, we're at the party. We have to talk to the fans, and this is Chance. He's a master's student at Gonzaga. Chance, what was the environment like at the game last night?
Honestly, it's kind of crazy that this many fans come down to Vegas and have just a good time supporting the Zags. It really shows the community supports them. It was a lot of fun to be able to advance to the championship. It's really cool for us.
You were just telling me this is your first time here. What do you think of this, just the madness, and how many people are here?
I'm shocked by it. We came down not knowing what to expect. So many supporters over here. Honestly, I look across the way, not as many supporters on the other side, but I'm shocked and in love with the support that the Zags get wherever they go.
Yeah, I mean, the St. Mary's party across the street, there's probably about 50 people there. You're looking at about quite a few hundred behind us here. How excited are you that the Zags are taking on specifically St. Mary's, one of the rivals?
Honestly, the only thing that could be better is avenging the BYU loss, I think. But so excited to beat St. Mary's again for the third time this season, hopefully. They're a great team. Let's boost our resume. A lot of respect for them, but it's going to be really nice to hopefully have the guys and girls win a WCC tourney. That's going to be awesome.
The girls already beat St. Mary's. Of course, the guys will try and do it soon here. Give me a game prediction for the guys.
Wow. I mean, I think it's close. I think Jock Lindell has a good game, but I think we're going to end up on top, probably double digits by the end of the game. So I'm really excited for it.
All right. Well, have fun here. Have fun in there. Thank you so much. And we have a little more coming up on the show, so take a look.
Straight ahead on our special coverage of the WCC, a slam dunk for the Lady Zags as they drive to the title of WCC champions. Plus,
he's probably the most precious person I've ever known.
The unbreakable bond between one player and his #1 fan. But first, measuring the matchup. Lindsay Joy checks in with ESPN's Jeff Goodman to find out his thoughts on tonight's matchup against St. Mary's.
Drive for the Title, powered by Coeur d'Alene Casino.
Familiar foes ready to go toe-to-toe in tonight's WCC Tournament final. Since 2004, the Zags and Gales have played one another for the tournament championship 8 times, GU winning all but 2 of those contests. St. Mary's last beat GU for the WCC Tournament title in 2012, when Matthew Dellavedova and the Gales won both the regular season and tournament titles in the West Coast Conference. Welcome back to our special pregame coverage of tonight's tournament title game in Las Vegas. Gonzaga getting ready to take on St. Mary's at the top of the hour. As a potential #1 seed in the WCC tournament, there has been no shortage of national buzz around the Zags. Our Lindsay Joy had a chance to catch up with ESPN's Jeff Goodman to talk about the potential pitfalls the Zags could face tonight and in the coming weeks of March Madness.
Jeff, you got a pretty good look at both of these teams tonight. Let's start with the Zags, though. How concerned should Zags fans be about these past 2 performances?
Yeah, the slow starts. I mean, that's what would worry me, because if you get down to St. Mary's early, it's harder to fight back. Obviously, these 2 teams that the Zags played weren't high-powered, and they started slow, and coming off the BYU loss, it's certainly something to worry about. but you wonder if now they're going to step it up and it's just playing to the level of your competition.
We saw we saw St. Mary's completely dominate BYU from start to finish. What was the most impressive to you about their performance?
Well, I don't know if it was the most impressive for me about them or the fact that BYU didn't guard a soul. I think it was the combination of those two. St. Mary's looked darn impressive. They made shots, but was it more them or the fact that BYU looked completely disinterested in the defensive end? So, they've dominated them now for three times in the season. So it's a bad matchup, certainly, for BYU. But I like listen, both these teams, Gonzaga and St. Mary's, I like them both. I think they have a chance to go deep to their own degree in the NCAA tournament. I think the Zags have a good chance to go to the Final Four.
You come here, You're covering a Gonzaga St. Mary's championship. I mean, how exciting is that for you?
Awesome. I mean, absolutely awesome. Like, this is what I came out here for, obviously, hoping that this would be the matchup because, again, you've got the two best teams in the league. You've got really good big guys. I mean, a slew of them for Gonzaga. Listen, they're good enough to have a lottery pick potentially coming off the bench in Zach Collins. Then on the other side, Jock Landale's one of the most underrated big guys in the country. Good guards on both sides. I mean, I just think every matchup is intriguing. Rayhan trying to slow down Nigel Williams-Goss, who's played, I'm going to have him on my second team All-American. He's been that good this year. I just think the Zags are like, pick your poison. How do you stop this team when they're rolling? Now, again, they haven't shown that here so far, but I think we're going to see an A effort for Gonzaga in terms of execution against St. Mary's.
Last question, because you mentioned the Nigel thing with the All-American, Coach of the Year. What do you make of this, and does Mark Few at 31-1 deserve it?
All right, so I'll be honest with you here. I went with Chris Holtman at Butler.
Okay.
But with a slight edge. Mark Few was my second guy, and I was kind of going back and forth. And the only reason I have Holtman at Butler is because I didn't think they were an NCAA tournament team at all, and they're going to end up being probably a 4 seed. Where Gonzaga, I had them somewhere in the top 20. Certainly, they've exceeded anybody's expectations, I think, including Few or anybody in Spokane's. But again, I expected them to be good. I expected them to be a tournament team. But the job he's done with a completely new team is remarkable. Maybe his best coaching effort, and he's had plenty of good ones.
All right, thank you, guys. We're going to have more from Lindsay in just a moment. First, Kalae is back with us live from Las Vegas. Kalae, the Zags have a pretty big following there, as you can see behind you before. But they especially have one Zag in particular who has a hometown crowd.
Oh, yeah, he does. We have Zach Collins, we talked about a little bit earlier, who went to high school at Bishop Gorman, but we've got Nigel Williams-Goss as well. His hometown of Henderson over the last 4 years during his high school. He went to Findlay Prep, and so there are a lot of fans here. And let me tell you something, Sam. These fans are rowdier than they were last night. They've pumped up. They've been in Vegas for a few days. Excitement is at an ultimate high, and they're ready to cheer on Nigel Williams-Goss. Now, Nigel Williams-Goss, he's famous. His star is growing as he continues to succeed on the basketball court, but he keeps his inner circle tight. He has a close-knit group, and I happened to be interviewing his mom at their home in Henderson when I got a close look at this very special relationship that Nigel has with his grandma.
Holding hands on the couch, Nigel and his grandma, Barbara Hingston, have nothing but love for each other.
He's probably the most precious person I've ever known.
I tell her all the time she's like my favorite person. You know, she's been there since day one, and next to my parents have just supported me more than anyone's.
Nigel's best friends from 4th grade in Oregon know why Grandma Hingston is so special.
We all call Grandma Grandma, and that just shows kind of what kind of person she is too, and how big of a role she's played in getting Nigel to where he's at and just supporting him and each and every one of us.
Nigel's mom, Valerie, is proud that her son and her mom are so close.
Their personalities are so similar, you know, what they like and don't like.
But it could make some family members jealous.
Are there people in this room who are pretty jealous that you said Nigel's the most precious person?
Yeah.
Are you trying to cause trouble?
I'll tell you what, it was a fun house to be in. There are a great group of friends, as he mentioned, from 4th grade, but then also that family, they're so close-knit, they love each other, and it was nice to get an inside look. Of course, they will all be here at that big game coming up in just a few minutes from now.
You'll want watching Drive for the Title, powered by Coeur d'Alene Casino.
And welcome back to our special pregame coverage of the WCC Championships. While the Gonzaga men get ready to take on St. Mary's, we can tell you that at least one championship trophy will be on its way back home to Spokane. The Gonzaga women took on St. Mary's this afternoon for an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Jill Barta absolutely took over in this ballgame. She set a new WCC tournament record with 37 points, leading the Bulldogs to an 86-75 win over the Gales. 37 points, just one shy of the Gonzaga school record of 38, set by Amy Simpson in 1983. But it wasn't an individual effort. Gonzaga pulled down 12 offensive rebounds. They led by 25 at one point, hanging on to win by 11. It's their 7th WCC tournament title in program history. So at least one trophy coming back to Spokane from Las Vegas. We hope at least one member of our broadcast team will be coming back home as well, at least at some point. Let's go live once again just outside the Orleans Arena. Fans celebrating the first of what they hope will be 2 WCC tournament titles tonight. One for each of our anchors there, Kalae and Lindsay, with more. Kalae and Lindsay.
Oh. Yeah, so what, we each get to claim a championship? Is that what he's saying?
Well, I saw a picture of the women's trophy already on the plane, so I don't think we get to keep that one, but we might get to steal it once it gets back to Spokane. And, of course, the Zags is a really exciting thing for them, but there's so much more to go for their season. They know they're going to the NCAA tournament now. They will find out Monday, so the men have selection Sunday, the women selection Monday, and that's when the Zags will find out where they're going in the NCAA tournament. We don't know where. There's so many different places it could be, so many different seeds it could be. A lot of things still to happen this weekend, so that will be exciting to see.
Yeah, it's really cool that their season isn't over, and it was really special at the end of the game when Coach Lisa Fortier addressed all of the fans who had come out, and she also addressed her players, and she also addressed her seniors. That includes Ellie Tinkle. We told you a little bit earlier about how she was so lucky to have her dad, who is actually the men's basketball coach at Oregon State, be in the stands. It just so happened that he's here for the Pac-12 tournament. Also here, her mom and her brother and her sister just made the trip very narrowly.
All the support that I get from them really means the world to me, and so I was fortunate that he could, especially in this environment, see this game, and it means everything to have them there. It's with all the chaos, these moments are the ones you cherish for sure.
Pretty special to hear specifically from those players what their families mean to them. And you follow this team closely, and you know about that close-knit relationship that they have with their parents and with their coaches.
Well, the Tinkle family. Talked so much about how many fans come to Gonzaga to see the WCC tournament. There are thousands that will be packing the Orleans Arena tonight to see the Zags in the WCC championship game. One fan came all the way from Ireland. Her name is Eliza. She's been a Zag fan since 2012. That's because she loves Przemek Karnowski. She lives in Ireland, actually has Polish roots, so she actually booked a trip last year to see the Zags play in person, but it didn't work out quite as she planned.
I booked the planes, the plane ticket, the hotel for last year's SMU game in Dallas, and then a week later I found out that my favorite basketball player, Przemek, got injured, and I wasn't able to see him play, but it was still really, really good watching Welch and Sabonis play that game. Too bad we lost. But still really, really nice.
So she didn't get to see Karnowski play that time, and she also saw Zags lost. Well, the good news, she's been here for these 2 games in Vegas. They won, and of course Karnowski played. She's had good seats, so just right out and touch them, right?
Yeah, that's so cool. Just talking to people from really around the world,
all over,
who have come here to see this tournament. By the way, check out the scene behind us. This has changed a lot over the course of the last 20 minutes.
They're going in. We're going to break. We'll be right back.
Drive for the Title, Powered by Coeur d'Alene Casino.
And welcome back to the SWX Special Drive for the Title. I've got goosebumps. I don't know if it's because I'm cold, and I know I shouldn't be complaining about that because there's no snow on the ground. There's blue sky and a beautiful sunset, but I've got goosebumps, and I think it's because it's the last game of the WCC Tournament.
That's right. It is ending. So is our show. You can follow us on Twitter at SWX right now. We'll have updates throughout this game. Hopefully, we'll be tweeting about some good basketball there. We are going to leave you now with a montage of some highlights from the Gonzaga season. Have a good night.